You know, I've been a bodybuilder for quite some time. And Layla is just coming up in the industry, figuring out what it means to be a fitness personality. And I got to tell you, all of those of you out there who are listening and want to ask us questions, this is the most annoying shit that people ask bodybuilders. I want to start by saying that this was Layla's topic. She said, I want to talk about annoying shit that happens to bodybuilders and annoying things that people ask us. Boy, do I have hours and hours and hours worth of annoying shit that happens to bodybuilders. But, you know, you're in a position now where you're kind of seeing the industry in terms of a beginner. Now, I don't want to say a beginner in terms of a beginner of your knowledge base, but you're new to the industry in the sense of the stage aspect of it, right?
Absolutely valid thing to say.
So why did you want to have this conversation? Which, by the way, welcome to the United States of America. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcast and on Apple iTunes. But what is it about this topic that you were like, I gotta say this shit, man? This really grinds my gears.
Because once I started taking off in this sport, the amount of like inquisitive assault and battery you get as a bodybuilder is fucking nuts. Okay, and it reminded me of that episode we did about is bodybuilding a sport? Like when you tell somebody you play a sport, they don't suddenly launch into like, oh my god, what is your practice like and what do your drills look like and what do you eat? But when you're a bodybuilder, all of a sudden it's like, do you eat protein shakes? How much protein? Okay, what's your diet look like? Is it like low carb? You can have chicken, rice, and broccoli. Like people just fucking go in on you. But they don't do that with another. What got you into bodybuilding? It's like, that's so fucked up and weird. But also everybody kind of thinks it's applicable to them and they could do it. So they always kind of want to ask like, okay, so you eat like low carb because they're trying to like voyeuristically understand how to do it themselves.
Do you think that the applicability of those questions is because I would say bodybuilding is not in an inception, and there are obviously bodybuilders that are larger than life that people feel uncomfortable talking to. However, there is not a bunch of AAA football teams. So if you walked in and Tom Brady was there, you wouldn't be like, hey, what's your drills look like? But if you were friends with him, you would be like, hey, when you were going to the Super Bowl, like, did you ramp up your training or anything? Like, is it that we are more socially available to them to ask the shit that they would ask if they felt comfortable talking to actual, like, multi-million-dollar pro athletes, you think?
I mean, yeah, I think that's got to be an element, right? Like, if we were recognized as genuine celebrities, like, yeah.
Right, people would be uncomfortable talking to us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, we're out in the world normally, so of course people are going to feel much more comfortable like approaching the subject.
Sure,
but again, I don't think it's a subject they would want to approach if I told people like I play water polo. No one's going to be like, oh my god, tell me about water polo. Like last night, no shit, got cornered by a table asking me about like, so do you like carb load before your show? And then you guys have to like pool water. Like it's for some reason this is the one sport where it's like people are so fucking fascinated by it. And the last
I would argue that you said this.
Going through this traumatic experience of prep and I'm starving myself, watching somebody eat a chicken parmesan, asking me about what that is not the time I want to talk about.
I would argue you've actually brought this up in terms of when people identify with this, where it's like they're fascinated because you can fathom someone wanting to play football. You can fathom someone wanting to play basketball or win an Olympic medal. Yeah. But for us, it's like, I don't think many people can fathom because think about this, right? I know that I'm never going to be able to analyze a field in the way that a Super Bowl winning quarterback will. Those tools of coaching and equipment and time are not available to me.
Yep.
The food and the gym are available to everyone.
Yes.
And bodybuilders have found a way to capitalize on it that is fascinating because people go, this is my favorite thing people say. First annoying thing. Oh, I mean, I eat pretty healthy. I think I do pretty good.
That is my overall thing. The umbrella statement, when people think they understand what we do.
No way.
drives me fucking nuts. Like,
Mhm.
hey Layla, come on over. You know, I'll cook you some salmon broccoli. And I'm like, that's not. Do you know how much fat salmon? Uh,
Yeah.
like
No. You're spot on. You're spot on. And
that. Yes, umbrella statement. That is the most annoying thing about being a bodybuilder when people think they get it.
my favorite
You
is
don't.
when I had this happen. It started when I was in the military, and I would go to I'm the type of person where I don't mind going places that have things I can't have. Like I don't mind going to a bar. I'm there to spend time with my friends. I'm not there to drink. I
Mhm.
want to spend time with my friends. I want to relax a little bit and hear some music and then go home at a reasonable hour. That's perfectly acceptable. But you will stand in the corner and like enjoy your water, and someone will come over and go, "Oh, you're the bodybuilder," and I go, "Mm-hmm." And they go, "You like it?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, "Cool. Here's what I'm doing. Like I do keto like Wednesday, and I look at them like I didn't ask at
Yep.
all.
Mhm.
You don't have to tell me anything. I didn't. You don't. I don't care." And I go, "Cool." And they go, "What do you think about that?" And I go, "I don't want to do this, man. Like I'm not your doctor, your therapist. I'm not any of those things. I just want to sit here and drink my
What do
water and then
you
go
think
home."
that is? Do you think that's because they think that we judge them because obviously aesthetics are such a powerful thing out in the world that if like you're a bodybuilder and somebody else wants to be really fit but they're not really fit, they feel like they have to like
I
puff their
think
chest out like, hey, well, you know, I also, or is it a voyeuristic way of like when you take your car to a mechanic and you want them to fix it for free? Like, hey, will you diagnose me? Hey, hey,
yeah,
hey, hey.
dude, you know what? I identify with that second statement a lot more, where I don't even necessarily think that people want to be quote unquote fixed. I do think they want affirmations
Yep,
that the lane they chose is the correct one.
yep.
I do agree with you on that, that it does come to a point where people are very comfortable if you say, "Oh yeah, I do keto leading into my shows," and they go, "Cool." Like they know they're on the right track. Whereas I've also seen where you counter argument them where you're like, "No, actually the the science in terms of diet states XYZ," or "Hey, it's all roads to the same end. It's about calorie restriction, it's about expenditure, it's about that." They'll kind of rear back at that where they go like, "Well, no, there wouldn't be a multi-billion-dollar industry on blood type diets and keto and all these Atkins style diets if there wasn't some science behind them." And it's like, dude,
Don't
the
ask me.
Secret sold a lot of books in
Yeah,
terms
right.
of the manifestation of, you can manifest things into your life. And it's like, sure, I'm sure there are success stories, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who would swear by it. Is there any scientific evidence behind it? No, probably not. Like you can't prove that you can just the law of physical attraction. And I can't wait to see the comment section in this one, man, because the law of attraction is just if I am immerse myself in this and I engulf every aspect of my life in this thing that's very important to me, all of the things I want it to bring to me will come. And when one of those things happens, they go, see? And I'm like, yeah, but you also said you were going to be a millionaire by the time you're 30, and you asked me for $20 yesterday. So, like, could we dampen this aspect of it a little bit and understand that maybe it's not all about the law of attraction, but rather you just focused on something for 5 fucking minutes? You know what I mean? So, I agree with your second statement that people want a litmus test as to whether or not what they're doing is good or bad. And they believe, sometimes incorrectly, that bodybuilders are a good source of information, where I will be the first to tell you, as one of those bodybuilders, you could be backstage at a show with guys who are placing second and third to you and go, "Dude, why would you do that? That seems so stupid. Why would you do that?" They don't care. It's how it worked for them. And so you're right in the sense of I think that they are testing the waters, and I wish that they would understand more and more. Dude, you got to figure out what works for you, because what works for me is never going to work for you, dude.
Yeah, I feel like the other part of that is it's an easy way to get information or affirmation without actually having to do the work yourself, which leads into like one of the other top platinum questions of making an annoying making an annoyed bodybuilder is how to get abs, right?
Oh
And
man,
so
yeah. I do a lot of core. Is that good?
it's that kind of question, like where if you're going to ask me how to get abs, you're never going to get abs. That's not the way to do it. You cannot do it that way. Like, I didn't get abs by going up to a stranger or typing a comment on an influencer's page asking how to get abs.
Yeah, and I would argue too,
you are
like,
fucked.
If there are people that feel uncomfortable enough that they need a push in the right direction of where to look, sure, I get that, right? I do understand. If you look, people listen to us because we're subject matter experts and they want to be pushed in the direction of thinking of it in a certain way. I do understand that. But I guess to the people that we would consider the annoying ones, right? It's not annoying for someone to ask how to be better at something. What Layla and I think are trying to get across is the annoying part is that we know you guys are assholes where we're going to throw the answer down and it just
No, I have made a
falls
TikTok
into the
before
hole.
about, like, when people ask, like, why don't you post more fitness advice? And it's like, because I don't like to waste my time.
Listen, it's out there. You can go look at it. And I
That's
would argue too.
all fucking out there. Like, if you really want, it's the abs thing. Like, in order to get abs, it takes an incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
You're not willing to do the lesser amount of work to find out how to do that work. You're never going to get all the way over there.
And this is a bit of information that I'll tell fitness industry insiders as well as regular people. When you get that answer, if you are presented with new information that makes the other answer incorrect or makes you change what your narrative was, dude, do that. That's the most, I would argue, an annoying part about bodybuilders and non-bodybuilders, right? Annoying things that bodybuilders say, right? Because it's not even just the outside fitness industry guys. The annoying things that bodybuilders say are things like, well, you know, Arnold and Franco and all these guys, Lou Ferrigno in the 70s, 80s, and all the way through the 60s with Steve Reeves and Bob Paris and all that stuff is what makes good bodybuilders. All this other stuff about better recovery and, you know, needing to take off seasons and all. Arnold never did. Right. You're not Arnold. Shut the hell up. Okay. You're not Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you think for a second that you could even hold a candle to Lou Ferrigno, you're an insane person. You're presented now with new information that says, and this is how I'm going to do this, the information that Dorian Yates released to everyone when he stopped competing was, this was the cycle I took to win Mr. Olympia. And everyone went, you're a fucking liar. And he goes, why would you say that? And they go, because I take more than this and I don't look anything like you. And he goes, yeah, I know. That's the point. You're presented with new information that there are people who are genetic outliers that do XYZ. You're never going to look like them. Even if you're using the gear to bridge the gap, you're never going to look like them. So when we say annoying things bodybuilders hear or annoyances about, I'm talking about you guys too, man. If you're presented with new information that may be beneficial to you, it's okay to do this. I was wrong. Just do that. Just say that. So I wish more people did that, including non-fitness people. They were able to look at something and go, I thought keto was what was helping me, but it was because I was calorically restricted, and that's how I got healthy. You know what I mean? But you're right. They ask us these questions because they want the answers that realistically they've probably already said that to themselves, and they just want you to say it back to them, right?
There's that dopamine rush of, like, getting.
I knew it.
Yeah, or like just getting an answer. You know, like, it's like the psychological release response when you tell somebody about a goal is, like, you know what they've said about that, where it, like, makes you feel like you've accomplished it, but you didn't. I feel like it's the same thing where, like, when you ask somebody a question, it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something or moving in the direction of your goal, but you're actually not.
I wish I remembered the name of it, because you're referencing a law like Murphy's Law, but the law states that if you write down the problem so that you can answer a question, you already have half the answer. I can't remember what it's called, and now it's driving me nuts.
The same thing. I guess I'm talking about, like, the feeling of accomplishment you get in asking a question, which I do feel like people feel that way. Like, they feel.
No, that dopamine rush that I'm talking about is because you now go like, okay, I can do this. You know what I mean?
But you're not going to do it.
And Most of the time. Most of the time.
You think any of these people wind up with abs? Any of them? Abs.
I mean, I did. No, but you're right.
Anybody? You?
I
Anybody?
which, by the way, and I'll give a detriment to myself right now. I was always the skinny kid in school. So I always had abs. Skinny dudes with abs, this is another annoyance. Dude, I'm so glad we're just rolling here because this is another one that I didn't think I was going to bring up. If you're skinny and you have abs, and I'm going to get flack for this, but I don't care. It's like being fat and being like, I got triple D tits. What? That's not okay. So?
Okay, because I've been fucking flagged before for talking about like girls in skimpy outfits at the gym, like, you know, when you put a bumper sticker on a Maserati kind of bullshit. Like, sure. You're not fit. You're just 20. Like, you know what I mean?
And what's
like,
funny
what are you showing off? You haven't earned any of what your body is. You're just fucking 20 years old. Like,
you said it much more politically correct than I did, which was you didn't earn that. You're youthful. That's what you look like when you're young.
Youthful. That's it. Like, you're not fit. Like, when you're taking pictures of yourself, like, what have you actually accomplished here?
Which, by the way, don't let me or Layla tell you what you can or can't do with your body. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is,
what I'm saying is it's not fitness.
Right.
Stop
if the
fitness, because it's not fucking fitness.
If the second sentence in the Instagram post is now offering coaching services, that's when we're like, dude.
Yeah. No.
What?
Like, yeah, it makes no fucking sense. Like,
did my first show, now offering online coaching.
Like, I am much more in the corner of an overweight person showing up at the gym because that shit's harder.
Respect. I've never in the history of ever looked at someone who is at the gym overweight and been like, don't come in here. Fuck you. That person has way more agency to be here than me.
All day. I will take 10 of those motherfuckers all day over one little skinny girl taking a picture of herself in the mirror. Like, you don't deserve to do that. That person is overcoming an obstacle, getting in here, maybe worried about what people are going to think about. Like, they're having a much harder time. Yeah. Like,
which again, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do with your Instagram and why you should or shouldn't be proud of yourself. I hope every day you wake up and look in the mirror and you're like, I'm proud to be me.
Yourself for beauty privilege.
Sure.
Like, I don't know, this whole, like, you know, taking photos of your face thing because you're pretty, like, I think you should celebrate your beauty the same way white people celebrate being white. You got born that way. Did you earn it? Did you work for it? Do you get treated better because of it? Yeah.
There's a ton of stand-up comedians that roll with that, where they're like, yeah, I if you think that there isn't privilege with this, like, of course there is. Yeah. Of course there is.
Like, if wow, this is gonna sound fucking. It's gonna sound exactly what it's gonna fucking sound like. If anybody can say that, I can say that. Yeah, I've lived that life. I do get better treatment. I do get shit for free. I do get to skip the line. That shit's fucked up. I didn't do anything for that. My skin's just white. Yep. I get to the front of the line. Like, that's stupid.
And I think that you actually, this is a really funny way to put it, but I think you get a version of that on steroids because, you know, look, you're attractive, you're outspoken, you have this personality that people are drawn to. So it's like,
I'm jacked, okay, got tattoos. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right? It's not.
So if anyone is able, and I'm glad you do this because I do the same thing where I say to people, I'm looking at myself in a mirror and realistically looking at it, right? I'll put it to you like this. When you ask a power lifter right before they get on a platform, are you fucking ready? You ready for this? They go, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. Because they're not thinking at any point in time that weight isn't going to move. However, because it's pound for pound and not when you move to strongman, which is the weight is what it is and you either lift it or you don't. If you went and talked to a strongman and said, you got this rep, dude, they go, I don't know. We'll see. It's a mirror that they're looking in themselves going, I may think I have this, but I'm realistically looking at myself as a human being going, can I deadlift 1,200 pounds?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And more people need to look at themselves and go, oh, no, I 100% do that. Or like, oh, no, I 100% am privileged in that sense of XYZ, right? I think that would be an annoying thing that people don't do is look at themselves with a realistic lens on either side. Yeah. If you're not in shape, if you are out of shape and don't know what you're doing at the gym, right? Yep. You then have to say to yourself, I am going to be uncomfortable for the next 4 to 6 months. Yep. But if I don't do this, I'm going to die. Yep. And I would rather be here for those around me and be here for myself than be a dead man. But let's also be realistic in the sense that if I said to someone, this is the diet and workout that I did when I won my amateur Olympia title. Do that and you'll be fit. That's not going to work. I need to look at them and go, listen, you got 80% of everything I gave you in terms of being a coach this week, when a week ago you weren't even eating anything but fast food and hadn't been in a gym in a year.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Put the real lens on it and be like, dude, okay, don't do 80% again next week because you want to be better than you were this week. But at the same time, don't be that annoying person that is like, I need everyone to be perfect or I don't have time for you. Like, really? Really? You don't?
Kind of.
So
you need to be trying to be perfect all the time, and then I'll be happy with you.
That's what I'm saying. It's trying. It's trying. That's the key. It's not. You're never going to be perfect every day.
Yeah, as long as you're trying your best. Unless you're trying your best and your best sucks.
Without
make
question.
That's better.
Which is funny, right? Okay, annoying thing that happens to you working in a restaurant. How many people have said to you, well, you could have X. It's healthy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so we get a free employee meal every night. Huge spread of things. So many times, like, Layla, we're doing a ribeye, lots of protein. Hey, yep. we have a salad tonight. You can have salad.
Like, yeah, but you doused it in oil.
So, like, are there strawberries and nuts in the salad? Is the cheese in the salad? Like, yeah, people just don't, and it's not their fault, but people are just so, like, they don't understand caloric density and, like, the amount of fat that something is cut into, and, like, cheese and nuts on a salad is multiple servings of fat now, and plus the dressing. It's just like, yeah, the impression we have of healthy is not quite right. And what we do isn't even healthy. It's a fucking,
that's what I was getting at.
Restriction.
Right? Because the argument there too is like, it's not their job to know those things for you. So when people who are bodybuilders, my favorite thing is, it's almost like on Instagram where I'll see people be like, oh, this person asked me, you don't even know how much sugar's in that, you fucking idiot. It's like, you're right, they don't, but they don't have to, because looking at them, they're relatively healthy. They work out 4 days a week. They hit their cardio goals. They're within a healthy BMI, and they own a restaurant. You don't have to tell them, okay, well, don't you know it has X? Just say thank you and move on, right? The annoying part of bodybuilders is, I need to prove to everybody that my way of living and dieting is superior to everyone else's. No, it's not. It's completely unsustainable. And realistically, it only serves the purpose to do one thing, the functional version of aesthetics. That's it. So it'd be nice to just say to someone, hey, listen, thank you for putting this out. I super appreciate it. I hope everybody else likes it. Unfortunately, today I can't partake. Smells awesome. You guys are awesome. And just leave it alone, right?
I guess the reason I don't like to leave it alone is because people aren't leaving me alone about it. They are trying to come to me with this sugary drink like, hey, you can have this, right? Well, if you're going to make the effort to come to my door and say, I want to understand you in this way by offering you this thing, I'm going to make you fucking understand me. No, I can't have that. Let's look at the label. See how much sugar this has? You know how much sugar I'm allowed to have all day?
Yeah.
Are you trying to fuck up my athletic career? Take your pop and go home.
Yeah. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Nirvana Super. Nirvana Super is HMB-infused water formulated by Dr. Naji, who is one of the lead medical research scientists at Vanderbilt University. Originally used to help stop muscle wasting in trauma victims as well as disease-ridden patients, this recovery tool boasts benefits like faster muscle recovery, increased joint health, a rise in physical endurance capabilities during exercising, and can even slow the appearance of aging. It also comes in some seriously good flavors and multiple delivery methods. So if you want to figure out how HMB can help you today, visit feelsuper.com and use Natty at checkout to save. Yeah, I could see that too, right? I think that if I were taking a look at somebody who wanted to study to be a lawyer and they were studying for the bar and they had a final the next day, right? Or honestly, they have tests all the time. They have checks and balances, whatever it may be when they're in law school, right? They may say to you, oh, I can't go out tonight. You could just come out and have a couple drinks, right? Like, that's annoying too. It has nothing to do with the food or the drink, right? It's the annoyance of someone's insistence that they know what you can and can't do when they don't know what you do and don't do. right?
Yes.
I would agree with you 100% on that, where it's like, I don't care what's available to me and what you want to do. If I tell you I can't have it, it's because I can't have it. So just move on, you
Mhm.
know? I can agree with that 100%. What else you got?
Let's do one of yours, Mister. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm the newborn giraffe over here.
I don't like, very annoying, and actually borderline illegal,
Huh?
especially as it relates to men.
Wait a
And I know,
Like,
here comes the flack, right? I'm not saying that we are, as a white man who's a bodybuilder who's in the upper middle class, is oppressed. However, I don't like how, for some reason, if you are a muscular man, it is okay for strangers to just touch you. Dude, if I'm in a gym and I'm hitting a rep and all of a sudden I feel a hand down my back, I don't care if you're an attractive woman, a man, or my own family member. Don't touch me. I have been on I was on a Southwest flight headed to Team USA. I won. And
that was good.
and I went to the bathroom, and I come out of the bathroom and they were loading the drink cart. And the stewardess has the drink cart and I'm scooting by her. And as I scoot by, she takes her hands, puts them on my traps, and runs her hands from my traps down my back and goes, "I'm sorry, I just had to." And I go, "No." And I turned around and went, "Inappropriate. Inappropriate." Like,
Good.
if you were a man and I was a woman, you would be arrested when I got off this flight. Inappropriate.
Is that what you said? Say all those things?
Yes, I 100% did. And my wife, like, because she's only like 4 seats back, she goes like this, and she goes, "The fuck was that all about?" I'm like, that lady rubbed her hands all over me. And arguably, my wife was never going to act in the sense that I would have acted if a dude did that to her, because them's fighting. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, no,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there are
I
different.
could take care of myself. I didn't need.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, is like, yes, nothing is going to happen to you.
But however, right, if I posted that on Instagram, a lot of dudes would be like, "Fucking simp over here. What, you don't like when beautiful women touch you?" No, I don't. Don't touch me. Like, it's no. That is a huge annoyance of mine, that because I'm a male who works aesthetically, I'm wanting to be objectified at every moment. And I'm not. This is part of my job. Part of my job is to make my physique aesthetically superior as much as humanly and genetically possible. That doesn't mean that you have free reign to touch or make inappropriate comments. Period.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like widely applicable for a lot of things. Like, X does not mean Y.
100%. 100%.
I don't want to talk about my tattoos. I don't want to talk about the tattoos you're about to get either.
Oh man, that's the best one. Like, dude, you don't want to tell me about your tattoo. Chances are, I'm sure people think my tattoos are stupid. I don't want to hear about your stupid tattoo.
I want to get a shirt that says your tattoos are stupid.
Or even better,
I don't even like my own tattoos.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
yours.
Make the shirt say "Our tattoos are stupid." That way, it's like everybody's tattoos are stupid.
Hey, this is the first time I'm ever gonna say I don't like my neck tattoo. Like, but oh well, I'm stuck with it. Like, what the fuck? Well, shit. Like, that's, you know.
My wife asked me yesterday. She goes, "If you had a tattoo," and she said it just like this though. "If you had a tattoo that you hated, objectively hated, would you keep it or would you get laser?" And I said, "There's a very clear distinction between what you said. You said that I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way for me to remove it if I hate it. If it's a tattoo I no longer identify with, I don't care. I mean, it was a part of my life at one point, and
that's exactly what I've always said. Like, my first tattoo is the 9 Inch Nails tattoo. Like, what if you don't like the band anymore? Like, well, I did once. It's a part of my life. It's a memory. This is like a living document.
I have an Every Time I Die album cover back
here. Oh!
They recently broke up because the lead singer and the rest of the band kind of had a falling out after, like, I don't know, what, 7 albums? And I can't listen to it the same anymore, man. It just doesn't have the same oomph to it. But I'm like, so what? It was my favorite band for over a decade. I love them.
Also, I don't know. I think people get this idea of me that I take myself super, super seriously. But it's like, honestly, like, I don't give a shit about my tattoos. Like, honestly, whatever.
Even when it comes to bodybuilding, like, people will say things, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be derogatory. I'm like, be derogatory. You don't like bodybuilding. I don't care.
I've had some of my fault. Yeah. Like, you don't, like, honestly, like, applause to you for saying that in my public comment section. Like, I actually don't like this. Like, at the risk of hundreds of people yelling at you, like, that is fucking baller.
I have said, it's how you say it, right? If someone comes on, because I've said to people where competitive eaters, right? Most of them are actually fairly in shape.
Okay.
Like you take a look at these guys, they have to maintain this really strict training schedule and they're relatively in shape. I say to people, I don't get it, but I absolutely can respect the difficulty it takes to get there.
Yeah.
You can say you don't like something, but man, he really likes it and he does the best at it.
Just because I like it doesn't mean I don't respect it. Just because I respect it doesn't, all that shit. Yeah. Yes.
100%. But yes, that is a huge pet peeve of mine, which is, oh, you're into aesthetic sports, so I can make inappropriate comments and touch you.
Right. Sorry. I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
No.
Not because
that wasn't derailing.
That
one came out. I was coming in hot.
I don't even think I have anything to add to that. That is just a point blank stamp signed, sealed, hanging out to dry. Like, don't fucking do that. What is wrong with you?
I want to say too, do you feel as a woman who does, because people are like, listen, it's obviously now in a culture where it's like, you better, if you are bigger than them and you are being inappropriate, like people are going to be like, dude, you're taking advantage of that. And that would be considered a version of privilege, right? So it's like, no man is going to really come up to you and smack you on the ass as much as it does still happen in society. It happens a lot less.
Sure.
But has anyone in a gym, knowing that you are wearing, because I've actually, for those of you who don't see the videos that I see of Layla, she's very reserved in terms of wearing sweaters and sweatpants in the gym. And she wears like what looks like winter combat boots in the gym. It's not scantily clad or anything like that. However, you do have a lot of photo shoots, many more than men do, where you're getting into aesthetic shape and you have these photo shoots which are relatively
that's where the
R-esque, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do people feel like they have more ability to say things about your body because you post those things?
I mean, how could they not? I feel like if you're putting it out there.
Sure.
I feel like I don't even understand the question. Like, if I post a picture of myself in a bikini, yeah, people are going to say shit about.
I guess because that comes with the difference in terms of how we view the world. Because for me, I go, they're not doing that for me, right? Sure, they're posting it on a public forum, but they didn't go into that photo shoot looking at those photos going, man, dudes are going to lick their phones when they look at this fucking photo, man. It's going to be awesome. They look at it and go, damn, dude, I look fucking good. I'm going to share this with the world. You know what I mean?
That's a big part of it too, right? It's like, this is what we do for a career. Like, I'm looking at, like, you know, my structure and my shoulders. And I mean, is there an element, because I'm a woman probably more so than men, like, do I look hot? Yeah, sure. Like, I also look really hot in this photo, and I'm proud of it all together. All said and done, it's a good package. But
so then do people shoot their shot in your DMs? Like, I know you like to see this dick pic because look at these photos you're posting on Instagram, you're asking for it, kind of thing?
I don't know. I don't ever look at my DMs.
Hey, listen, as a person who DMs Layla and never gets an answer, that's accurate. She doesn't look at her DMs.
No, I really actually don't look at them.
Yeah.
I mean, there were even people in the comments that will be like, spread your legs a little more, next time turn around, or
yeah, that shit. That's what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah. There's a couple of those that'll filter through, right? And like, I always try to make sure to respond to those. Like, next time, there's never gonna be a next time, blocked.
I'm literally not going to mention this person. It was on, we had this discussion on your previous post where you asked me to go weigh in on a socio-political topic.
Yeah.
Which was really funny because what I really wanted to comment to this dude after he was like, I wasn't fucking asking you anything.
I was asking Miss Layla. What the fuck?
My number one thing I wanted to comment, and I had literally 6 hours, went back and forth and was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this go. I really wanted to comment, dude, she's never going to fuck you. She's never going to fuck you. Like, when people comment that stuff on your posts where it's like, spread your legs a little more, I've never read one of those comments and been like, I will do that. Never. That's never happened.
It's a power thing, right? Like, it's the idea of like, it's gotta be, right? Like, what else?
I don't know. I've never commented anything.
Surely never in the history of ever has someone read a comment, spread your legs a little more, and done it. So why do people do that? Like, it's gotta be a power and control thing. Like, obviously I'm a super hot woman. Like, you're posting photos of yourself. These people have to one up you somehow. And the low blow is to take it somewhere super sexual and crude, I guess.
That's the question I've asked people who comment those things, which is why I was polite to this person and saying, like, dude, I know you didn't want to hear from me essentially now, but I was asked to answer you because you sound like, you know what I mean?
Saw that I was like, oh
yeah, 100%. But I've asked people that where I'm like, has that ever worked? Have you looking at a woman walking by and catcalling her? Did that ever work? By the way, sound off in the comment section, dude. If looking at a woman walking by in the gym and going, love for you to hike those up a little more and let me see that camel toe. If that's ever worked for you, we'd love to have you on and to discuss exactly how long you've been together and when you got married. Because I've never seen it.
I feel like it's the opposite. Like, you just blew every single fucking chance you ever had.
100%. You might be a good-looking person, but the answer's no. Fuck off.
If you're a good-looking person, your chances are less.
Yeah, probably, because it's like, oh, you thought you could get away with this.
I don't know. I know what I'm like as a good-looking person. That's bullshit. I don't want to date another one of me.
Oh, man, people have said that where they're like, oh, I bet your wife is just like you. I'm like, can you imagine two of me?
Yeah, no, fuck no.
I'm a tyrant to live with. Yeah, what are you kidding me?
James are like, oh man, I hope James never sees this. But yeah, like we look mismatched, you know? It's like, yeah, looks aren't everything.
And
he's got a personality. He's interesting.
You know, I think that's another annoying thing. Is that people
they
assume,
think that we're super superficial?
Yes.
Yeah.
That all we care about is looks. I had a girl in the gym tell me, which I want to say, I love my wife in all of her forms. She was a bikini pro, decided not to compete anymore. I will be the first right here on this podcast to say, I'm attracted to bigger women. I like thick women, not out of shape. I like.
My friend likes me when I'm thicker. He doesn't like me like this.
However, I had a girl
like me when I'm thicker anyway.
Yeah, I had a girl in the gym go, oh, well, I don't know who your wife is, but I bet she must be and I went, first of all, inappropriate for you to go like this to talk about a person, especially considering that, what if my wife wasn't that and was uncomfortable, like stick figure, like thin? Oh. And I said, you'd actually be remiss in your duties as a human being to not know that I actually prefer women who are heavier than me and taller than me. So it just is what it is. So they feel that there's this fetishization. Let's call it that, right? It's a fetishization of as getting as shredded and aesthetically peaked as possible. And it's like, well, right, I like the process of getting there and then competing in that sense to win the best of those. But I'm not outwardly attracted to that. I don't really think that most bodybuilders are, which is why they're not married to other bodybuilders. So I guess then the question becomes, right, is the annoying part that other people have this societal thing where they're like bodybuilders are superficial and, they have this unrealistic expectation of bodies when I'm like, yeah, but I don't want them to look like that. I know the majority of people will never look like that, and I would prefer they not look like that. I think the problem is you, right?
It usually is.
Remember, if you're going to take anything from this podcast, guys, it's that the problem is you. No, but you're 100% right. That I think that when we talked about youth earlier too, the older we get, the more I look at most women and men, by the way, and go, they're attractive because X. Their attractive quality is X. Or they have a really pretty face versus a nice smile versus eyes versus figure versus personality, whatever it may be. There's very few people I look at and go, you're disgusting. Like, not to mention, who cares? Why would they care what I think anyway?
Like, even if they are. And I actually, like, working in a restaurant, you see lots and lots of people. Like, there are some unattractive people that come through there, but who gives a shit?
Sure. And
yeah.
By the way, there are plenty of people who would be considered unconventionally not, or I should say conventionally not attractive or conventionally unattractive.
Redheads. Fucking love those.
Cleaning up, dude, because they know exactly who they are, and that's what makes them attractive.
Yes.
Is they're like, oh, yes. I know my lane. I know exactly
The game of having no game, that's the best game. Personal opinion, but yeah.
No, listen, I tell all the girls I ever had in high school and all the way through my wife that are out of my league that I go, I disarm people with my humor and outward social personality. But truth be told, like, I shoot above my fucking means every time. And
there's no reason you shouldn't.
Right. I think that that's endearing in the sense of like,
as long as you have something to offer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I have value of some kind.
Yes.
Right.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by NutraBio. NutraBio, with no compromise since 1996, they never hide behind proprietary blends and always tout transparent labels. With industry-leading formulations, all with clinical dosages of ingredients and products spanning from bodybuilders to athletes to just general health clients, NutraBio has exactly what you need to take your goals to the next level. Hit up NutraBio.com and use code word NATTY at checkout to save.
Yeah. No, I will never understand people that like are in like sending me messages or like the DMs that I don't read. But like, you know, when they're sending them, it's like, who the fuck are you? Like, why would I want to date you? Like, you want to date me because I'm pretty. Okay, what do you do? Like,
I would love to have any fitness personality on our podcast and who is married to someone that they met from not a meet cute or like, he was the owner of the gym and then like we built a relationship up. Hey, I think you're hot. Let's go lift together and then bang. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we've been together 12 years. I
guarantee that story's out there.
But I want one person, if you're listening to this and that's you, I would love to hear the story because I feel like if you dissected that a little bit, there had to have been a time where they got together and connected on something else and went, oh, we get each other. Or what you said your relationship is we're so different. I find the other person endearing. I don't understand what makes them tick, and that's what's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I want to understand how they're so good at their thing, but they don't apply it the same way I do. Right? I have said just like this. My wife is 100% the empathetic person that I am not. Even though I appear very empathetic to people and I am outwardly in terms of how I say things, there's times in my head when I'm like, dude, stop being a fucking pussy, man. You're such a bitch. But my wife is trustworthy in the sense of if I walked into a middle of a field and there was a bag full of $1 million, I would say to myself, this money belongs to someone and it could be their life savings. And I would like to think that I would turn it in. But for a split second, I would go, is anybody really here? Because this could change my family's life forever. And ultimately, I would do the right thing. My wife would pick up that bag and go, this doesn't belong to me, and walk it to the bank and turn it in. Because it wouldn't even process in her brain to do the wrong thing. I'm a human being. Sometimes if there is a opportunity to be had, I go, am I a piece of shit if I do this? And most of the time the answer would probably be yes, but it doesn't stop me from calculating, is I really going to get hurt with this? My wife would never make the calculation. She would do the right thing 100% of the time. I don't know what that's like. And I'm like,
is it working? I mean,
I find that very endearing that I'm like, I know that you would never lie to me or anyone else because it's just not in your DNA. I find that wholeheartedly endearing. That's the type of person I want to be around. 100%. Without question. She got a nice ass too.
That helps. Well, way to wrap that all the way around.
Hey, man, I mean, listen, I'm a man through and through, and if she lets me inappropriately touch her without warning, that's fine. But I wouldn't have done it on an airplane. But yeah, that really does bother me, that we are pigeonholed into where we must be aesthetically shallow. Like what we are attracted to is always going to be aesthetics.
I feel like that, it falls again under the umbrella of everyone thinks they understand us. For some reason, we're the type of people that everyone just thinks they know what we're about and they know what we do, and we eat healthy and we go work out.
Is there, I don't know, I'm asking because I really haven't thought of this until you just said that. Is it also the understanding that maybe they think we're vapid and dumb enough that even if it offends us, we're just going to forget about it, or that they don't care about how it affects us? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the culture of the world right now, is people are throwing shit at people without realizing, like, hey, that's a human being you just said that to.
Yeah, I never understood that. I never understood how you can look, whether or not you believe our tax dollars are going to what they should be going to. I never understood, other than the argument of the government isn't good at doling things out and is not good at infrastructure. But I never understood the argument that we shouldn't have free healthcare for people. Well, like, I never understood that, because if it was my kid and I did, or it was your kid, let's say in a parallel universe, Layla decides she does want kids, and her and James have delicious little tattooed baby Layla.
Yeah, I'm also a stripper and I do heroin in this.
Yeah, rock and roll. You did say, hey, listen, you said you do go-go dancing. It's like the same thing, right? I'm just kidding. I don't mean that.
God, you almost had me there for a minute.
No, I would never say something like that.
It can't be.
But what I mean by that is this. If I saw that you became incapacitated and there wasn't something set up that could help them, and they wound up having cancer, or, you know, they needed a kidney, like, what argument do you have that a civilized society shouldn't take care of its most vulnerable? I understand the counter argument of don't hand things to people.
Mm-hmm.
But we're one of the only civilized societies where if you it's random genetically. Because let's face it, Layla, you and I do not have jobs that offer us health insurance, right? Let's say by the luck of the draw, you get cancer.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not like you didn't plan for it, but the idea that you have $400,000 for cancer treatment because you planned and picked yourself up by your bootstraps, I never understood that. Like, there's almost no one where that happens, right? So is the argument that because Layla and I chose to follow our passion, so we didn't get health insurance, the reason why we should tragically and ultimately succumb to cancer because we can't pay for the treatments? Like, I know it's a tangent, but I never understood that.
And it's one of those tangents that I am not well versed or educated or studied.
And I'm not asking you to be, and I don't want you to have to be like, I'm going to comment on that. I'm dialing it back now.
Where Brandon talks about something he knows a lot about, and I'm over here.
Believe me, I don't know about it, because what I'm saying is I never understood how anyone could argue, let's not take care of people.
The only argument I've ever heard for not free healthcare is because people do take advantage of it, and then they tie up all the resources. It's like the cops. It's like,
don't they already do that with the insurance system anyway, where the insurance companies are the one taking advantage of you by charging $50 for a tab of Tylenol, and then you are then basically, when you pay into these insurance premiums, people are like, yeah, but they paid for it. Yeah, but maybe your premiums would be zero if they didn't do that. I never, you know what I mean?
Don't go to the doctor because they don't have money, or they say, like, I can't afford this. But if it were free, then wouldn't those people go to the doctor?
Yeah. Shouldn't they?
But wouldn't that tie up the resources? Because people would be going to the doctor that didn't actually need to go.
Oh, so what you're saying? No, I
know.
If that's your argument, then I would say,
like,
no. It's a valid argument to make, right? But I would argue that there are people who, even if they do have health insurance, are going to do that because they're hypochondriacs, or they just need to have answers to certain things. There are people who I know that have the best health insurance on the planet, that they're bleeding from their side, and they'll go, this will go away. That's fine. Because they don't like doctors. So, like, what I'm saying essentially is not, I believe that everybody who needs flu intervention, and sure, you should be able to go to the doctor for that. Realistically, the thing we should be highlighting is that there are kids who have terminal illnesses that could have been helped if we allowed more structure of saying to each other, I care about you even if we don't have the same ideology, or I understand your plight even though I don't go through it. That's where we started this conversation, was when you were like, I believe that maybe they just don't understand. And it's like, yeah, in a lot of those arguments, I get that you don't understand it. But it's okay to not understand and still see empathy and connect with somebody because they're human, right? And these comments that people are making to you or to me or to anybody else that is so X-rated and disgusting is like, oh, you don't see me as a person.
Yeah.
And same
Yeah.
thing with personalities, right? They don't see you as a person. They see you as a talking head, even though it's like, yeah, I'm talking to my own Instagram. Like, I'm not a talking head that got paid. I love when people say like shills of the fitness industry, what Big Sugar's paying. Who's paying my bills? I didn't get a check from the fitness industry. Like I had to, my clients pay my bills. You know what I mean? So dial that into a question here for you, right? When it comes to how you view your message, people are going to say that we're annoying, right? That the outwardly fit people that think they can talk to the general populace and tell them how to make their lives better are annoying because we don't understand what they went through, right? What would you say to someone that goes, I have 2 kids, I work 2 jobs, I've been overweight my whole life, I can't get into shape, she just doesn't understand me? What would you say?
So this person has said, I just can't get into shape.
You don't understand me. I can't get into shape. I've tried everything. I've done all the pills. I've done all the other things. You just don't understand me, right?
Have you
What
tried
would
diet
you
and
say
exercise?
to a person who says that to you?
Have you tried diet and exercise?
And what if they say like, yeah, I've tried diet and exercise, but for some reason, because of the way my genetics are, XYZ.
What did you try? You know what I mean?
Try doing it with me for a little while.
Not that. I don't want to train you. I don't want to train anybody, especially you, especially someone like you. I don't know. I mean, in personal training school, right? They teach you there's like the scientific perceived lack of time. You know, people
Yeah,
who
oh
say
yeah.
enough time. Like, I think it's just a matter of something I've always hated is when people say like, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, I don't think that's realistic. People are going to do that, but also you can learn so much by comparing yourself to other people. Like, oh, she's got 2 kids and she does it like this. You know, like. Honestly, moms, I would not recommend you do anything that I do. I'm not a mom. I don't have kids to think about. I don't have that kind of lifestyle. Like, I'm not going to be your best source of information for how to be a competitor as a mom with 2 kids. Go follow a competitor that is a mom with 2 kids and see what she does. Like, that's going to be way more applicable for you.
Yeah, I think I what's interesting too in terms of obviously the podcast is annoyances in and around bodybuilding, right? As a bodybuilder, I think we're pigeonholed even in the beginning in terms of like, well, of course you can handle that. I mean, look what you do. And that argument to me is shitty because when you said on our last podcast where you were like, there's a couple things I had to cut out because I realized, you had told me, hey, take a look at this. And I just realized it was too much on my plate. I had to change things. There are people that because they don't connect with us as human beings, but they think we're just content machines and bodybuilders know, they're used to suffering, that nobody may have said that to you. That if you were just, like you said, Kai Green on a train, headed to go train, people would admire the work ethic and admire the grit that it took, but never sit down and go, hey, dude, you okay today? Like, you look a little haggard, man. You all right? You doing okay? That's an annoyance for me because I wish more people cared about humans for being humans as opposed to this is my circle and I'm going to check on these people, right? So would you say that that's one of those things that, because people, obviously you're more hardcore than me on Instagram and your message and all this other stuff. Do you think that means that people think that they have agency to say those things to you and can be hurtful or neglectful and you'll just have to sit there and take it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I, create this narrative that I'm a person with thick skin, why wouldn't that lend itself to people treating me like a person with real thick skin?
Like testing it almost.
Yeah, sure. Like,
do you want to be tested?
I mean, not in a Joey Swole kind of way. That shit sucked. But like outside of that, honestly, like I just had this this interaction with one of my most like longest running trolls. He was like, actually, I'm finally going to admit to you, I
Yeah.
really like it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
Because
did
he
see that.
actually
That shit's
replied to me. Like,
hilarious.
I
Which, by
replied
the
to him.
way, dude, if you're watching this, respect that you admitted it. I'm trolling you because none of this is real. I'm just kidding.
And the thing is, he's not the only person that said that. Like, there are times where I'll receive comments from people and they're like, actually, I started following you because you checked me on something I said on somebody else's page. Like, I have a good amount of people that are following me that like me because I'm like, I don't ignore haters. I don't think that is the right response.
No.
Right? Out in the real world, if someone is a hater and says some racist shit, do you just go like, no, you fucking check that shit. You fucking stuff that shit. Or at the very least, you go, I need you to know I'm not okay with what you just said, or whatever it is. But like,
Sure.
Evil exists in the world, not just by those that do it, but those that stand around and watch. Like, I am not that person. Like, if you say some shit, I'm gonna say some shit back.
I think
it's just for fun. Like, whatever. Like, sometimes it's,
yeah.
I'll troll them right back. Like, I'm not always investing myself in what they're saying. Like, sometimes it's just like on my recent video where I was driving.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, 10 and 2, Layla, what you're doing is dangerous. Yeah. It's like, okay, close my eyes and steer with my knees. Like, you reply, like, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever character it is that what you put out into the world, you're going to get back.
Sure.
So, yes. So if I'm putting out this hardcore bitch character, people are going to come at me with a hardcore bitchy, whiny bullshit.
Listen, I've always been a fan of you for owning it, because the thing is, there's so many people that would then at the end of it play the victim of like, what did I ever do to you? Like, listen.
No, I fucking asked for it and I know it.
Right. But I'm always torn, because I'm also like, I'm anti the people who are commenting that shit to you. Right? Like, I would argue that I'm not a toxic positivity, but that I fucking hate people who have this negative view of everything. Like, my least favorite thing that anyone ever says, I will walk up to them with a cup of coffee and go, whew, fucking tired today, man. My kids were up last night and I just didn't feel well. And the first thing someone will say is, you think that's bad? I didn't ask you one up me. Like, it's the one upman shit Olympics. Like, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I hate the type of people that comment that stuff to you, but I've always stood by the fact that you've owned the narrative and went, well, what else did I expect? This is what I said to them. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like walking around with tattoos. You can't expect people not to say shit to you or ask about or say, I like your tattoos. Like, I can't live in a world realistically.
Sure.
And not expect that to happen.
Sure.
I was thinking about your comment with like the woman who, because this kind of all ties in together. The woman who says, well, what you do just it's not going to work for me. It's like, that's a exactly valid thing to say.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and I try to tell people that all the time that are whining on my page, like, what you do doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
There's 125,000 other people that like what I do.
Yeah.
Like, and this is one of the things I've said so many times. There are 8 billion people in the world. You are not going to like or understand all of them, and you don't have to.
You shouldn't want to be honest with you. Like, we've met people that you meet and go, dude, you're a shit human being. Like, I don't like you.
Or I just don't understand what your page is, but that does not mean for a second I am going to take my time to be like, I don't like this. This doesn't work for me. I think this is stupid. Like, no, obviously some people like it, but that's your thing. Like, I don't, whatever.
You know, what's really funny is that ties into your last podcast where it was, talking about hustle culture, where it's like, you want to produce all the time. You don't see those comments as anything that would produce anything of value. Like, I'm not going to go to someone else's page and tell them what I think about it, because it will not produce anything of value.
I think, maybe that's part of it. It just feels really, really entitled. Like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I for this thing? Like, what is that? What comes of that? Nothing comes of that.
But let me ask you a question. In the sense of you having as large a social media following as you do, I've always said that people who use their following to do something specific that never breeds, I don't even want to say positivity, but that they're only speaking their message to breathe positivity, as opposed to going out of their way to interact with people in a positive manner, right? Would you say that you on a daily basis are able to go on social media and maybe go on someone's page and realize that they may look up to you and say something positive, where they're like, oh, damn, I'm following this chick forever, and she just said nice lift, like, or, good shoulder caps, like, that made me feel really good. Do you ever step into those shoes and be like, I need to comment something positive to these people because they're awesome?
I do shit like that all the time. My engagement is super high with my followers. Part of the thing that was stressing me out is I sent out 12 gift packages of merch for free to people that had either like supported me or followed me for a long time or said some really like awesome shit. Like I was just sending out shit for free, and that was taking up a lot of my time, so that tailspin me. But yeah, like, or I'll go onto someone's page, or if someone comments that I've never seen before and I really like their username, I'll be like, your fucking username rocks. Like, yeah, my interaction, my connection with people is super important to me. Like, it's not just all about me. Like, if I see people out in the world that are doing shit that I also appreciate or think is the right thing to do, you will hear from me if I see it.
One of the trainers at the gym, good friend of mine, his name is Ron. He's actually a Highland Games competitor, really good too. Shout out to Ron. His Instagram handle is, when he commented on my shit, throw V Wade. I was like, dude, hilarious. Fuck it, because he's a shot putter and he does Highland Games, which is all throwing related, and so he's really good at things like I can't remember what it's called, and I'm really sorry about that, but like the weight throw and the caber toss. So his name is Throw V Wade, and I'm like, dude, that's hilarious, man. So automatically, when I saw that he had commented like, hey, I was thinking about coming to the gym, I'm like, dude, fucking awesome username, man. That's yes, good job.
Yeah.
But okay, so as we round out this podcast, coming to an end here, annoying questions bodybuilders get. Polish this off, Layla. What's the one thing that you would be happy to never hear again as a bodybuilder from the general public?
What's your diet?
Yeah. That is the right answer, by the way. That is the right answer.
No, you get one too. You get one too. What is the one thing you would not want to be asked anymore?
It's diet related. Ready? This is what I ate last night. Oh, but I bet you think that's disgusting because you don't eat that, huh? Bitch, there's a reason McDonald's has sold 700 trillion hamburgers, because they taste good. Yes, I eat that shit. I have no problem admitting that the things that you eat that you then look at us and go, I bet you don't really eat that, huh? Yes, I want to eat that all the time. I know what it tastes like. I've never deprived myself of Doritos when I'm not in contest prep. I know what a fucking Dorito tastes like. Stop fucking saying that. Just if you wanted the fast food and you wanted to eat it, enjoy. You don't have to nag me just because you're eating it. 100%. And why is it though that they
feel guilty and they want you to know that they feel guilty, and you're God and this is a confessional.
Commiserate, man.
I gotta take this to the bodybuilder dude and tell him that I had a Big Mac.
Which you're not even my client. And I'm like, okay, was it good?
Well, you're not my God, but make me feel better anyway.
Which, by the way, I'm here. I'll be the first to tell you, we're not fitness gods. We're regular ass people, no matter who they are. I don't care if it's Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, none of them. We're all humans. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. And guess what? We've all had protein powder that tasted like shit and pre-workout that gave us the shit. So
for yourself, not wearing pants.
That's what, yeah. See, that's the problem. Is Layla makes sure she doesn't wear pants in case the pre-workout makes her need to take a shit.
Well, it's because I got clocked for eating on the podcast and doing something else. Oh, because I was showing my whole body. I was being unprofessional. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna wear pants. Fuck you.
I don't know if you read your cup, but it says you make enemies for a living. So. And on that note, as she takes a long, hard sip from her personality out of a cup, I want to thank you. It's always empty. It's always, wait, look, mine's empty too, but it's because I drank it. I want to remind you guys that we're so appreciative of you hanging out, listening to us jibber jabber about bullshit. And I want to thank you guys for supporting U-NATTY States of America now and always. So be sure to rate, review, subscribe. And Layla and I will see you on the next podcast for United States of America. We'll see you. Now remember, you're recording, so you got to turn it off.
Fuck. Okay.
Not bad, man. 2 really solid.